I know that was like a game for me.
Okay. Should be ready to start. Ayo! Alright. You don't have to be so stiff. You can just be relaxed. Okay.
Okay, wow. This is kind of...
Nobody said I had to go. I just went on my own. Nobody saw me.
I am a singer, and I just recorded my EP in London last year. So I just started taking it seriously recently, in the past year or so. And yeah, it's basically just about like getting started with my career and hopefully turning around Canada with my EP. And I'm starting to work with a producer now, another producer, doing my songs that aren't on the EP. So just kind of getting myself out there. And ever since I was young, like my parents introduced me to Arabic music because I'm Lebanese, and I grew up listening to all sorts of different Arabic music, Egyptian, Syrian, and it just drew me in. I love music, and I would listen to different voices and different dialects, and I was always so drawn to really strong female voices and raspiness. And we have a sound, it's called Izabelle, which it's like mountain. It's like the mountainous voice, and I think it's because of the echo, and like it basically is to signify like a very powerful voice. And there's a few famous singers, Arabic singers, especially Kulthum. Would stand for hours and sing without a microphone, and people would just watch her because her music was so powerful. And that's what drew me in, was music like that. And it's definitely influenced my style. And ever since I was young, I would listen to the radio and I would think, I could do this, like I could copy this, it's no problem. And I'd listen to Voice to Man, where I carry like more modern music at the time. And then I had like a little Fisher Price recording thing that I would sing into, and I'd annoy everyone in my family and sing into it like all day long. And then I realized that you could record on it, and my siblings would start listening to it, and my friends would listen to it and say, like, you can actually sing, like you actually have a voice. And I was young, like 5-6 years old. And then I remember being in elementary school, and my friends would come to my house and they'd make me like sing for just like whatever songs, like sing this Mariah Carey song or sing whatever was popular, Spice Girls, whatever was good at the time. And then I would just copy them, and they would all just listen to me and loved it. And I thought, like, I actually enjoy doing this. So just throughout my life I sang, but I only took it seriously like recently. Yeah, so.
Okay, so.
Oh, London. London was crazy. I was so drawn to going to Europe for a long time. I didn't know it was going to specifically be London. But something came to me, and I was working at a college in Vancouver. And I was enjoying it. I loved Vancouver, but in my heart I was still like, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to just work a job that I don't like. And I started to feel this really strong magnetism to getting out of Canada and going to Europe and saving money and just working and then doing music there. I had no idea what that even meant, like just going and doing music, what does that even mean? But I just had this pull, and I was so drawn to like Amy Winehouse and Adele and all the music that radio had, like all these UK musicians that I just love and influenced my style as well. And then so I just felt like the need to go there. So I went there and I had nothing set up. Like I just went there. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was going to do. I remember looking for a place to live in the first week and like having no luck and thinking like, what am I doing? Like I just should go back home. But something was telling me just stay. And then it finally worked out, and then I found an incredible studio, Soho Sonic Studio. After looking through a lot of producers and not having any luck because I don't play an instrument, it's difficult for me to describe my vision for my music because I sing a cappella. And that's how I write my music, because I just sing and write at the same time. And I finally found this studio, and they just got me, and it was amazing. And we did 4 songs. The EP is called Sunrise, so we did an EP. And we just went through all the songs that I've written, and we picked the most that were kind of a variety. And those are the 4 that are on the EP. It was one of the darker, I guess, mysterious songs on the EP. And I wrote that song actually around the same time as I wrote the other ones in Vancouver, and it was the first time I lived in a city that was more of a city. Like I lived in downtown Vancouver, and I grew up mostly in Edmonton, and I never really was around like that much of a cosmopolitan place, I guess. And I was trying to find work, and it's not an insanely busy city like London, but it's still much busier than what I was used to, and more about having a nice house and car and all these things, a lot of materialistic mentality, I guess. And I felt like so overwhelmed because I just graduated school and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I remember just walking around feeling like no one's paying attention to each other, everyone's bumping into each other, everything is just so superficial, and we're so like disconnected as human beings. And I felt that way internally for a really long time, and I felt it even more so there because you feel like people don't actually look at you like when you're even just in your everyday, like people just would walk past you like it's nothing. I think that's very common in a lot of major cities. And I just remember thinking, what's the point? Like, where are they going? Like, where are people going? Why are they in such a rush? What's going on? Like, why are we so obsessed with, achieving things and, especially material things? And a lot of my friends were so obsessed with money and work and like getting through the hierarchy of whatever positions they're in. And I felt like so disconnected from that, and like I could pretend to want those things, but I felt like I was suffering so much internally, and I just couldn't find my place. And that was where Material World came from, was like an outsider looking at this whole human desire to achieve things and on a material level, and thinking like this is pointless, like this is all going to disappear one day, like what are we doing? This is not serving us. If anything, it's bringing us back because we're so focused on that. To me, it's not like it's a bad thing to want things in life and to want to build your life in that way, but when that's the only thing that you care about, you lose yourself. And I felt like I was losing myself by trying to be a part of that. And that's where it came from. It's a long-winded answer. Cold. Cold was also in Vancouver. Vancouver inspired a lot of my songs. But yeah, I was sitting with one of my friends, Peter, and he is also a musician. And we were talking because I didn't actually start writing music until I moved to Vancouver. I wrote one song in Edmonton. That's on the EP, that one's Sunrise. And then I moved there, and then all of a sudden I had this like creative surge. And we were talking one day, and I started meeting other musicians, and we were talking one day, and he said, why don't you ever sing about love songs? Like, why don't you, like, majority of songs are about love or relationships or breakups or something. And he said, like, none of your songs are about that, and why is that? And I kind of just looked at him and said, you know what, I can't relate to it. Like, I can only write something, and I think a lot of people are like that you can only write music or write something that you can relate to or means something to you. And to me, it was the fact that I'd never experienced it, and that there was this longing for it, and I never really talked about that because it's a very sensitive thing. I think people are afraid to admit that they are like lonely, or that they have that natural need to be with somebody, or fall in love. And I had never felt that way, and he said, write about that. And then our conversation turned into Cold. So that's where Cold came from. Stupid. Oh, Stupid was about London. Not because London's stupid, but Stupid was about London because I felt like, what the hell am I doing? Like, and I hadn't written a song for a long time, and I felt like, oh my god, I thought that I was supposed to come here because I was going to be creative and I was going to maybe write some music or something was going to happen, and nothing's happening, and I felt so overwhelmed. London is an insane place. Anyone who's ever been there, it's a great place, but when you live there, and I think that it's like that in a lot of cities, you go there, you visit, you have a good time, and then you actually go and try and live there, and it's a whole other experience. And I remember just walking through the streets and going to different places and thinking, like, I don't know where this city ends, like it just keeps going on forever and ever, and same thing, like so many people, and there you really feel like the disconnectedness. I think if you're sensitive and you pay attention to that, I think, and it's always gray and everything, and I just felt like, you know, everybody's just walking in circles. Like there's a line in this song that says, "I watch them walk in circles," and I literally watched people walk in circles, and just, it's crazy how they can actually like get through like the train systems and everything, and they're all like in. They don't bump into each other. They know where they're going, but they're not actually physically there, or they're there, but they're not there. It's kind of strange, like how people get in the habit of things, but they just, life kind of passes you by. That was the vibe that I was feeling, and again, like just kind of standing like an outsider, just feeling like, what's going on? Like, what am I doing here? Why did I come here? Like, and then, you know, something inside of me still saying, you're strong. Like, you're supposed to be here. And there's a purpose to everything that happens in the world, and the universe brought you here, so just go with it. And if you fall, you fall. You pick yourself up, and it's okay, you come back. And that's what that song was about. Sunrise. Sunrise was the first song that I ever wrote, actually. I wrote that here in Edmonton, and I was going through a lot of darkness at the time. And I guess you could call it depression, anxiety. I had just finished school, and I finished my psychology degree, and I felt like so pressured all of a sudden to have to, you know, get a job and build my life, or, you know, grow up. And I didn't want to. Like, I didn't know what I was even doing. I didn't know what I was going to do. I felt like everything around me was just suffocating me, and I felt like so much pressure everywhere. And Sunrise was like this kind of pleading of, like, you know, the trouble in my mind, like the consumption mentally, just repetitive thoughts of just feeling like a failure almost, or not be successful, and like what successful was and where my path was, and all these just so bombarded. And I think a lot of people feel that way, no matter what stage you're in your life. And I just got to a point where I just couldn't take it anymore, and I wrote Sunrise, and I started actually just writing a diary because someone suggested it to me, saying this will help with your anxiety, you know, maybe you just need to let your emotions out. And then it turned into Sunrise, and it's almost like this, you know, going through this depression, but in the song there's also like the wanting to come out of it, and you know, move beyond the gray and the darkness, and seeing the sun, I guess. Yeah. And so there's like an empowering feeling behind it. So that's why, like, when I sing the song, it sounds like a really sad song, but when I worked with the producers, they had such a great idea of kind of doing the music where it was the opposite. It was a more happier, uplifting song. But if you listen to the lyrics, and when we did it acoustically, it doesn't really...
Always trying to change my ways, but every day remains the same.
It's a mix of different things. The EP is like a variety of, there's like a ballad, there's a dark Material World song, there's like a cool mix of like a soulful, kind of has more of a beat to it, Stupid, and then Sunrise is like this alternative kind of sound. So I think that the theme in it, I guess, is a soulful sound, but it's alternative at the same time, but experimental. So I'm currently working with a producer. He's got more of like a hip hop type of vibe, which I do really love hip hop. I'm more into old school hip hop, but he's got more of the R&B hip hop influence. And so we're working together, and I think that he's really talented, and I'm trying to kind of mix those two worlds, the instrumental, the real live music sound, with a bit of you know, production and the hip hop vibe, and bringing those two worlds together, and having the soulful sound, but not like a typical R&B sound. So that's where I'm headed. And then just getting my music out there, marketing, taking time off to do that, to get myself more known in the music industry in Canada and North America in general. Doing some more shows, hopefully everywhere. We'll see where that goes. My website's up now, so that's helpful, finally. Hi, my name is Izabelle. Come check me out at the Needle if you're in Edmonton. I'll be there performing next week, August 12th, with my band at happy hour, 5:30 to 6:30. Definitely come by and check it out. You can also get my EP available on iTunes now. It's under Izabelle, spelled with a Z, and it's called Sunrise. Sunrise. I'm here.
Give me what I hear. It hurts to know it doesn't change. If I go, it stays the same.